Does Nigeria have an image deficit? Many will say yes. What has been the cost of this to the nation? A lot, many may say. Can the situation be turned around? Certainly would be the answer. But how? Could be the next logical question. And that is the question we hope to address on Nigeria Today. Our focus is on marketing Nigeria. I am Wilfred Ewalifu, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Nigeria Today. This is Nigeria Today, and joining me in the studio to discuss today is a council member of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, Mr. Onyekachi Onubogu. Mr. Onubogu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
And may I also introduce another member of the council, Chuka Ebora. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Well, gentlemen, I'd like to start on a note of a bit of literature. The iconic Nigerian author, the late Chinua Achebe, wrote a book titled The Trouble with Nigeria. Borrowing from that title, what is the trouble with Nigeria's image? Let me start with Kachi.
Thank you very much. Let's start with saying Nigeria is a great country with great potentials and excellent people. But what we've struggled to do is to define who we are and what we want the world to know us or see us for. And like with every brand, you must have certain characteristics that you want your consumers to associate with you, and I think that's what we've not done well with the brand Nigeria, because when we talk about marketing Nigeria, it's about marketing the brand. Brand Nigeria has not sold what it stands for to its consumers, and the consumers here internal, Nigerians internally and external, foreign partners, investors, and that's what I'd say is our deficit, our image deficit. We've struggled to create that brand persona for our country.
Okay, Ebora, what's the trouble with Nigeria's image?
The trouble with Nigerian image is the way we even ourselves perceive ourselves. For me, our image, our problem is internal. If we're able to fix our internal problems, our external problem will not be a problem. We really need to focus on internal issues. And I will give you a very typical example. If you see me as a Nigerian first, before you begin to think about my ethnicity, my religion, then Nigeria will be a focal point. But whenever we think about ourselves within the nucleus of ethnicity, religion, then
when you approach it from that perspective, it looks humongous because
Yes.
you probably need to address a whole lot of factors if you're going to address the question of Nigeria's image from that.
Yes.
So and that really is not within your premise. I mean, if I may say, because it's all has a lot of political connections and all that to address those factors.
Yes.
So I'm just talking about from the perspective, really, from a marketing perspective. I mean, what would you like to?
I understand what you're saying, but this for me is fundamental. Why do I say so? I had a trip, just recently to the US, and I said, okay, let me be able to, I read because it's a longer, trip. So I was reading about the long, walk to freedom by Nelson Mandela. The first thing that occurred to him is the fact that he was seeing himself as a member of their ethnic group until he broke out and left home to Johannesburg. And now seeing the entire problem of him is now seeing the nation. And so he was fighting for the nation rather than for the ethnic group. So that's what I'm taking it from.
You're talking about the question of basically orientation,
Yes, that's one of the ways in which we're going to market Nigeria.
We'll come to that, but first of all, I just wanted to look at this brand talking about and trying to say what really is the problem with it for us to address it. So let's just go back to one point. Is Nigeria marketable, going by the point you took off from?
Yes, Nigeria is, there's no brand that is not marketable, but it has to be a deliberate effort to market the brand. The marketability of Nigeria will not happen by chance or by happenstance or by prayers to God. We have to decide that we have a nation we want to market and start creating those intrinsics that make the brand unique. Who are we? The first thing you ask is, who is Nigeria? What is Nigeria? Nigeria is a combination of great people. We have young men, strong talents. Nigerians are good at everything they do, and I say this positively or negatively. Whatever Nigerians set their minds to do, they do well at it. But what do people know us for? What does government or the individuals sell the country? We don't. If you ask Nigeria, so we talk about Malaysia, you talk about truly Asia, you talk about America. Even America is trying to make America great. You talk about the greatness of America, land of freedom, land of opportunity. What are we about? What do we define ourselves as? So, like with every brand, what are the features of this brand? We've not defined it yet. So, and I think we've also done ourselves injustice by historically trying to sell ourselves externally when we've not sold ourselves internally. And that's probably that's the fundamental issue we have, that Nigerians don't even know Nigeria. One of the greatest things that's tried to address that historically was the Youth Service Corps, where we went to different countries. At least you can't judge a man when you've not even lived in his shoes. At least you go from Anambra to Mina and you understand. That's we need to start marketing ourselves. So every brand can be marketed. I mean, if Taiwan could change its image, if the Chinese image could improve in terms of quality. Remember when we used to talk about bad products, we say it came from Singapore, South Korea, even Belgium. If that can change, Nigeria
Let me come in. I say because Kachi is talking about every brand can be marketed. But if a brand is intrinsically defective, can it be marketed?
Yes, you can change the image.
Perception.
Of a brand. Yes, the perception. You can change the image by repositioning. We were just talking about what do we stand for? We have strength in this country. We have tenacity. Anything you put your mind to do, you will do it. You will get it. Sorry, I'm making reference to my, because I just came back. On arrival, of course, the tendency. I traveled to Turkey at the time. When we put our passport down, the immigration control left. Nigeria, he left and caught. So why? Because of what they feel we are. But we stood, we relaxed, and they came. What do you come to do? We come to for training. The hotel we were booked is one of the high-end hotels, and immediately they just stamped and we left. But that was ordinarily what they have already perceived. So every brand can be changed. We have to think, what do we want? We have to reposition ourselves. We have to ensure that the things that we stand for, as I said, tenacity.
All right, okay. Kachi, you...
Yeah, what is the point? You asked, can you fix a brand that's intrinsically defective? The question is, why do you think we're defective? I mean, whatever we think about it, we're people. And one of the things people talk about a lot is that every child is born the same way. You're born with nothing. You come clean slate. And so what molds you is your circumstances, your socialization, your education creates you.
Gentlemen,
so we can change it.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, I need to cut in now because I need to take us, back to beginning from 2004. Yes. There was the Nigerian Image Project.
Yes.
And the year after, there was the Heart of Africa project.
Yes.
These were all projects that were global in nature, and the impact was, arguably not much. One of the things that I understand actually went wrong with that had to do with the fact that there was no image analysis to start with. So intrinsically, if we're talking about launching any form of project, anything about marketing Nigeria, should not precede it by doing some kind of in-depth analysis of what the problem is?
Yes, let me start with that. We need to be clear that, look, the concept of marketing any brand is a continuous process. I think governments think that, okay, you create some beautiful name, some idea, and it starts and ends. The great brands of this world, from Coca-Cola, the Guinnesses, have been here 1759, 200 years, 100 years, and they continue to invest in marketing. So the journey, it's a journey. It's not. It never ends. That's first.
Is it about marketing?
It's about selling it. And the other point I want to get to is everything you've said is that government has invested, different governments.
Yes, of course. I mean, over time,
in trying to create an external image for Nigeria. You can't give what you don't have. Marketing starts with you.
Okay.
And that for me is what we need to change fundamentally. When we have to sell Nigeria to Nigerians. You, myself, Mr. Chuka here, have to understand what we stand for and believe that we should be here together. When we start marketing Nigeria to Nigerians, that's the first step. You talk about bringing tourists to Nigeria. Nigerians don't know where the tourist attractions are in Nigeria, and you want to bring guys from China, from America to come and invest in our territory. How many of us know that Nigeria is blessed with, from Katsina to Obunike Caves to the Idare Hills? How many of us know where we can go for holidays in Nigeria?
Okay, Kachi, let's bring in Ebora into this. I mean, I started by talking about these previous projects. What do you think was responsible really for those projects not achieving the impact that was conceived?
Well, first of all, is continuity. I started by saying our internal structure in terms of Nigerians understanding Nigeria should come first. If for example, I mean, you go to the traffic stand, and the light is showing red. Somebody will be hooting the horn to say, leave. No, there's no vehicle in your front. It's not just about people being punished, but the way the people will be spoken to, the way the orientation in your heart is, if I do this, it is not right. Could go to Ghana. Such does not happen. If you are the traffic and it's showing red, you stop. So these are the things that we, first of all, internally. And that's why I also, I came about the fact that if we see ourselves as Nigerians, you go to America, I said, I'm an American. Okay, but those are the things that...
Do you think that is actually those are the fundamental issues that are causing Nigeria this image deficit? I mean, I think that it transcends, just some simple issues of just behavioral tendencies.
I think it's a mishmash of all. There's something we talked about today at the marketing conference about people talked about demarketing, that the Nigerians demarket ourselves. We talk negatively about ourselves. And somebody raised a very important point. The actions we take as a nation, from government to individuals, demarket Nigeria. And he gave instances of somebody leaves Nigeria, is being probed, he runs away because of fraud, then comes back and they reinstate him without telling somebody. Somebody's minister says the guy should go, and somebody reinstates him. Secretary of State, federal government has issues. All these things create, because people see what you show them and tell them. People, if it's what you know, people think about, if you go to the US, they talk about Nigeria. So Chimamanda was talking about the other, somebody asking, do you guys have libraries in because...
Kachi, don't you think that one factor that did the greatest damage to us was 419?
Yes. But
advanced fee fraud. I mean,
yes. The second big factor is that we've not sold the good in us.
Yes.
How many times do we go out to talk about I use something as modern as tourist attractions, the great places to visit in Nigeria. We have a tourism, somebody who's in charge of tourism in this country. How many times, when do we talk about the narratives we see every day on our news is the negative narrative? It's 419, it's people that are going to Libya, we're bringing them back. It's the fact that it's...
Actually, unfortunately, bad news is what sells in this business.
Bad news sells.
I mean, and what does the West want to hear about Africa, unfortunately? I mean, it's actually up to you to push your own narrative.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point that, look, we need to say, what exactly do we want to push? Bad news sells. And let me say this. I say this. I schooled in the US a bit, and there are more gun crimes in the US, probably, than anywhere in the world. But you never heard the US government, there's a shooting today, and people died, and 1 or 2 weeks, they're still talking about the greatness of America. They push a narrative through the media, consistently about what they want.
It doesn't stop the media from reporting what is wrong.
Yes, but they push a narrative,
yes, but
deliberately.
It is important for us, gentlemen, to properly isolate the factors that might be behind what we are in today. I mean, with due respect, you talked about America. I mean, I have been both in America and in Canada, and the book I came across was 419.
Yes.
The book 419, and it was all about Nigeria. And I think that is the first thing that strikes you, and that's probably one of the factors that consistently accounts for this image that we have.
Why do people go into 419?
I should be asking you.
No, that's interesting. Why do people go into 419? When you create an enabling environment...
Kachi, hold on. Let's bring Ebora into this conversation really, because for us to really move forward, I think that's very critical for us to put a finger on what really is wrong. As far as I'm concerned, it has to do basically with attitude, and then also he's talking about demarketing Nigeria. Yes. But we'll talk about the new approach that you guys have in mind after we take this time out.
And a passionate and patriotic one at that, I think Nigeria is marketable. I can't give up on Nigeria. I cannot lose hope in Nigeria because I don't have any country I can call my own apart from Nigeria. Okay, if our infrastructure is working, no matter what maybe the hitches here and there, I think we can still fly globally.
It's marketable because we have the human and material resources to make this country a great one. But by the time our leaders agree among themselves to do the right thing, until then, we won't get it right properly. The way things are going, I don't think so. We have insecurity in Nigeria, which affects the living standard of Nigerians, and it has affected Nigeria equally because investors do not like to trade on such parts where there's insecurity in Nigeria.
I still believe that Nigeria is very marketable because really economic, you understand, so it's not only Nigeria is affected, all some of the Africans.
Nigerians, they are speaking to the issue of Nigeria's brand and Nigeria's image. I still have with me in the studios Kachi Onubogu as well as Ebora, and we're discussing the Marketing Nigeria project. And I think that's probably where we'll take off now. You guys have a project, you know, basically dealing with Marketing Nigeria. But before we get into the specifics of what this project is about, you talked about demarketing Nigeria. I think it's important for us to address that before we go to the next phase. How do we stop this tendency of Nigerians demarketing Nigeria?
Okay. People demarket anything when they're either unhappy or they believe there's nothing for them in what they do. The first thing is about giving people a reason to love this nation. And again, I say it's you rarely see an American go out of his country and talk negatively about America. You rarely see that. The point is that you need to give people a sense of belonging. People must believe that this...
How do you do that?
Well, it's about things as mundane as equity and fairness in terms of everything you do. So people have talked a lot about, look, do we need to have your state of origin, for instance, when you're doing different jam scores for different people? People have talked about that. The answer is probably no. When you're going to federal government colleges, the answer is no. Do you need a quota system? The answer is probably no. If people are treated on merit, then what you probably see is that everybody feels that I have equal opportunities like you to become the best I can be, like in the land of opportunity. Yeah. It starts with that. The other thing is understanding fundamentally that, look, we're a young population. You must give the youth a chance to work and a chance to determine their future, which is govern. Because people must take that into their own hands. And the thing is, look, you know, if we don't fix that fundamental issue around the youth population having nothing to do, then what they're going to do is everybody will go to Italy, and when you get there, all you talk about is how bad Nigeria is. And those who don't even go to Italy, go to anywhere, we'll talk about it. We
so creating employment, equity,
and giving a sense of belonging and making you feel. Let me give you a good example. I said this earlier today. When Nigeria qualified for the World Cup, I was in Uyo. I did not see anybody feel bad or say, oh, I'm northern or southern or eastern or western or middle belt. It was, wow, Nigeria. Nobody looked at the team and said, oh, there's no gender balance or ethnic balance. Nobody did that because it gave us something to look forward to. And we need those kind of stories in Nigeria. Things that unite and inspire, that give us something to focus on. If we do that, it reduces the issue of the market.
Yes, I mean, but Kachi, this is nothing new. It's fundamentally the same experiences we've had, really. So let me bring you in now, Bora. The initiative with regards to promoting, Marketing Nigeria is coming from the Nigeria Institute of Marketing. Wait, what is the thrust? How do you guys expect truly to promote or market Nigeria?
From the point we said before, as a marketing practitioner, you must know, first of all, what you stand for. You must also then be able to position yourself. If you've not positioned yourself, you reposition yourself. If we don't, because just like he said, we don't, some of us don't even know who we are.
Yes, but let's just go straight to strategies. What strategies do you guys have in mind? I mean, to deliver, what is the mechanism for actualizing this?
First of all, it's a public-private partnership.
Okay.
Now, the government, we're glad that the government were there with us because they need to buy into it. The private sector will create initiatives because we have the pool of talents. the government must support that particular initiative.
You said most. The government is not driving it. So
Yes, they're not driving it. So for it to work,
Yes.
they must, or else it will not work.
if you're anchoring this on government,
Yes.
can you achieve it?
No, we're not anchoring. That's what I said.
No, but
it's
when you said most-
public, when I use must, is the fact that if you want, should, but I feel it is a must, because if they don't partner or don't agree with it, it will not work.
Okay, Kachi, because the initial project was driven by government, and
Let me make one fundamental point. What is different between what government has done historically and today? Government has always driven the concept of marketing or whatever, building brand Nigeria. Government are not marketing people. They're either politicians or civil servants, and fundamentally they don't understand the concept of marketing. For the first time, the institute, which is chartered by government by act of law, which encompasses every marketing professional in Nigeria, is coming together and say, we want to work with you. That's what we do for a living. We probably have over 20,000 years of marketing.
well, Kachi, we don't have all the time, so it's important that
But the first thing,
first of all, deal with how we.
the first thing is that we're going to diagnose the issues of Nigeria. Like you said, what we normally do, research, understand what are the key levers we can pull to start this journey. It's going to sell the concept that, look, marketing is a continuous process that requires investment.
Okay.
The third thing is we talked about looking at Nigeria and saying, these are a great country. What are the things in this country we can leverage to sell internally and externally? Somebody gave an example today which was brilliant and said, look, you pay 300 dirham to go to Dubai to go do a desert race in a Toyota Prado. Well, half of the north, if you park Katsina desert, we've not leveraged it, it's just land and we leave it there. There are opportunities in every sector of Nigeria. You have a national theatre in Lagos that nobody does anything with. And if you go to South Africa, the national theatre in South Africa is used for stage plays. There are opportunities in every sector to market. So what we want to do as an institute is identify these sectors and present them to government with an actionable plan of what we want to do. Our conference today wasn't about speaking. We want to move from talking to creating actionable plans which we will present to the minister and the president that we can start working on practically. That says, on sports, this is what we must do. We have Anthony Joshua, a great boxer, talks about Nigeria. We've done nothing with him. We have the bobsled girls that played. So on sports, in entertainment, in media, through government, we will do stuff practically that government can take and say, like your activity plan or your marketing plan, have a marketing plan and activity specific plan that will execute. That's what will be different, led by the private sector, but with support from government.
So who funds it?
Well, it's just like I say, it's a public-private partnership.
Yes.
Individual, if for example the brand is selling well, don't you think that even in international brands, we fund?
I understand this, but you see, but at
if you put the strategies well.
Yes, Chuka, let's just a minute.
Okay.
You're talking about strategy.
Yes.
Right from the onset, as part of your plan, you always need to factor in the cost element.
Yes.
Yeah. So so at the initial stage, are you guys funding it?
Let me make one point. A good Nigeria is good for business.
Yes.
And if we have an actionable plan that we can sell to the public and private sector, both private sector practitioners and government will fund it. Understand that, look, you start at the beginning talking about the image deficit. It has financial implications to every business in Nigeria. Hey, you talk of if your bond rates are high or your interest rates are high or your borrowing rates internationally are high, your companies can borrow money at low rates. So fundamentally, once we will sell both to the private sector and public sector. And we hope that together, because we fix Nigeria, we all benefit. It's not a government thing. People think it's political. No. If Nigeria works, I'm in private sector, the private sector benefits. If we're proud of Nigeria, investors will come in from everywhere. The more investors come in here, the more money they bring, the more salaries I can earn if I work for one of them. We will do it collaboratively, but we will prevent the plan that ensures that, look, the private sector and the public sector can work.
So we're still at the stage of a plan.
Yes, we had the conference today, and the outputs of the conference is what we're going to share with the government. I will share with you over the next couple of weeks, and then it will make public on steps we'll take to drive market Nigeria.
Oyekachi Onubogu, Council Member of the Nigeria of Marketing. Thanks very much for coming on Nigeria today.
Thank you very much.
And also my pleasure to thank very much Ebora Chuka, another Council Member.
Thank you.
We've been discussing marketing Nigeria on Nigeria Today, and it has to do with a proposal of the National Institute of Marketing, hoping to, as much as possible, address what I have referred to as the image deficit of Nigeria. But hopefully, like they understand and stress, Nigeria can be marketed no matter what you think of this. Thanks for watching.